This kitchen's not the same without you. It's just a grill, it's just a greasy spoon without you. Welcome back to the Don't Care Didn't Ask podcast, everybody. Davante Adams to the Jets, reunited with A-Rod once again in New York. We'll get to that, but first, please help me give a warm welcome to a close friend of mine, making his first official guest appearance on the podcast, my resident Vikings fan, lifeblood of the group chat we've been in for the past decade, Andrew Vincent Rogers.
Thank you for having me. Chris.
Absolutely, buddy. It's been a minute. It's been a while. We've been trying to get you guys on here for like a long time, and finally getting around to it. Especially since those Vikings, dude, 5-0, off the bye this week, going to Detroit. How do you feel about it?
Feeling pretty good. First of all, thank you for having me, Chris. Some would say the most anticipated podcast feature since Elon Musk lit up that doobie with Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah.
Some are saying that.
Some
on Twitter.
Some are saying.
Yep, some are saying. But yeah, in terms of the Vikings, man, this is one of the most fun teams to watch that I've had a chance to watch Vikings-wise in my lifetime. But, you know, I'm also cautiously optimistic because I have seen it go very bad very quickly
Absolutely.
in the past. And me, I became a Vikings fan in 2009. If you were born in like the 60s, you've seen some of the most painful football in your life if you were a Vikings fan since
Absolutely,
there. 4 Super Bowl losses. The 1998 team was the 15-1 team with Randy Moss. Ended badly, obviously. They missed a field goal. And yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot of pain, but I am optimistic. I think we've got the right guys in the right places. I think we look good in all three phases of football. I trust the coaches. So hopefully we can keep it going. Tough game this week against Detroit, who looks unstoppable on offense right now. But I do think it'll be a pretty high-scoring game, to be honest. 31-27.
Right, that over there is pretty. What's that over? It's like the over is like
40. About 50 points. It's pretty high.
Oh.
They have it pretty high.
Yeah. Sometimes that's a bit of a trap, but yeah, that's gonna be a good game, for sure. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to that. You and the Chiefs, the last undefeated teams in the league, and I asked this a couple weeks ago. I think I asked it last week too. Who is going to be the last undefeated team? I don't think you're both winning. I don't know, though, if you both will lose. Both of you losing is just as likely as one of you winning. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's tough. The Chiefs go into San Fran. I mean, that's not a gimme, obviously. You guys go into Detroit. No, Aiden Hutchinson, R.I.P. We'll talk about that. That's so sad. But that's not a gimme. So, I don't know. We will definitely be on the edge of our seat on Sunday for both of those games. You guys play first, right?
Yeah. So
you guys play 1.
Yeah, we play 1 o'clock. It's actually in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Minnesota.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was in Detroit.
No, it's at home, and that is a huge difference maker because I've been to our stadium a few times, US Bank, and it is like the last time I was there, we opened against the Packers, and it was like 140 decibels on the big screen.
Yeah.
I was screaming so loud, and I couldn't even hear myself scream. Like it's one of those stadiums where they built it so sound bounces off the roof back towards you, because it's one of those newer stadiums or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely going to be. It's one of the games of the week, along with the Chiefs game, obviously.
Absolutely, dude. Tell them about, because remember, he was there for the Blair Walsh miss. There's the picture of you with the icicle coming out of your nose, watching Blair Walsh shank that kick against Seattle. Dude, oh my goodness. He has seen some stuff. He's lived through a lot. FYI, before we get to the rest of the episode, we do, this group chat, we do a weekly parlay. Andrew, by the way, fully funds it, so kudos to him for that. Weekly parlay. We did hit week 3. We hit week 3. We were up for with the Chiefs and Falcons to make sure they covered. Yep. And absolutely, Nick Bolton made the final play for us. So this past week we missed by 1 leg, which is sad. But we will get back on it. We will absolutely hit this again this year, and you guys will hear about it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hit 6 legs that are like even minus 150 to minus 200.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's really hard to do. With the like you said, week 3. Actually, I've got the legs right here.
Oh, dude, we've hung it up in the loo, and we've immortalized it.
I'll put it on my fridge. Actually,
what was it?
Yeah, it was week 3. Chargers Steelers under 38.5. I think that was probably yours. That sounds like something you would pick.
Yes, it was the Steelers under, always.
Justin Jefferson,
almost
70 yards, pretty free. That was when we blew out the Texans. Alvin Kamara, 25 yards, pretty free, pretty much every week. Seahawks, I picked the Seahawks minus 2.5 against Skylar Thompson, who is not even an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, it was free.
I'm not convinced that he's like just not a random guy off the street.
He's an NPC. He's not
Yeah.
He's not user made.
Then Justice Hill, 2 receptions hit, and then the Chiefs Sunday night at the Falcons minus 2.5, which was a sweat for sure.
Absolutely. Justice Hill got exactly 2 catches that week. By the way, I remember Isaiah taking that leg. But yeah, we hit that week, and only week 7 now, so we got plenty of time to hit again. We will hit one more time. But let's talk about where I hit over the last week, okay? I was right 5 times. I was wrong 0 times. So listen, if you've been listening and you're not tailing or you're not locked in, I don't know what you're doing. I am an obsessive little dweeb. I will make sure I'm right most of the time, okay? So without further ado, let's get into it. I was right about Colts plus 3.5. The Titans are stinky. The Colts have a way more dynamic offense with a better quarterback. This was a Fugazi line to start. Tennessee should have been home dogs, to be honest with you. Joe Flacco, Will Levis. And Flacco's on an absolute tear. Colts won by 3, I think. You could have took Colts minus 2.5 if you wanted to.
Will Levis, one of the funniest QBs in the NFL.
Oh, we'll get to him. You know he's made the best this week.
Yep.
You know I was watching, waiting. I don't even talk about it yet. I love that guy. Pittsburgh money line. I literally told you, okay? The Cowboys game, it was what it was. All right. The Raiders suck, okay? That was absolutely disrespectful odds. Minus 3 at 170 something. Gross. We won by 19 points. And I was right. Tampa money line was minus 178 against Spencer Rattler. Look, I will say this did have me sweating for a little bit because what exactly were the Bucs doing in like the second quarter? But whatever, they won like 51 to like 30 something. I don't know how that game went over like 70 points, but it did. Anyway, Tampa money line, check mark. Cincy at New York minus 2.5. It just okay. The games this week were way too easy. I mean, Chase Brown had the last second touchdown, which saved a lot of people from that 3.5. But that's exactly why I buy a point or two, because 2.5 would have hit if it was 10-7. You do expect Cincy to put up more points there, honestly. But that was a hit. And then Houston at New England, that was the easiest one of the week, it would seem. Minus 3.5, which is a line I don't usually take because I don't like that 4 points kind of thing. But I just thought Drake May first start. I mean, the Texans are kind of a buzzsaw, 41-21. So that checked out there. So 5 in a row right this week. Last week, it was 4-1. So 9-1 over the last 2 weeks. Buddy, I don't know what else to tell you. I give you free game. So that is what it is.
If you parlayed those, it would probably be plus 400, something like that.
Yeah, you parlay those, you got a nice little payout.
Yep.
They're all minus odds, but not too minus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of the favorites won this past week. Usually, like, there's some weird underdog that like just wins, which means this week probably the dogs are gonna be barking.
Yeah,
but,
dude.
it was an insane amount of favorites that not just won but covered the spreads.
Right.
But I, the way you like to do it, I obviously buy it to either that 2.5, or if it's like 8.5, buy it to the 6.5.
Right.
Which so that way they win it by a field goal or a touchdown, and you cover. So.
Right. Like people are sweating that Cincy 3.5.
Yep.
And you buy the point, you don't have to worry about that. But that is what it is. So 5-0, lock in. All right, time for my favorite segment. Best and worst. There were best and worst this week, not as good as last week. Last week was pretty sensational. This week though, pretty good. Let's start off with the obvious one. Will Levis kills ball boy on the sideline. He does like a somersault into him, like.
Yep.
And it's funny because they had to cut the commercial. Like okay, it's not that funny. A guy's hurt. Yeah, I'm not whatever. But he's a meme every week. They had to cut to commercial for the ball boy, who's like an old man who probably tore his ACL just trying to make like a couple bucks, dude. He sent him to a cart. And then on top of that, you got the Spider-Man celebration, which I'll admit was a little bit clipped for me. Whatever, still funny. Will Levis is a walking meme. He had an extra week to cook up a meme, so he gave us 2. Yep. The guy is a legend.
Yeah, I love watching Will Levis play football for not the right reasons, but he is really entertaining. He even like his play on the field, not talking about when he like takes people out on the sideline or when he dropped to his knees in the first week after throwing the pick six. He just plays funny. Like he plays so loose that it's terrible.
Yes.
But another question is like there was another like a year or two ago. It was the Lions were playing the Saints and a ball boy got absolutely decleated. Kind of the same situation.
Yeah, it was last year. I remember that.
It was another old man. So
Kamara ran into him.
Yeah, Kamara ran into him, and then Kamara kind of stared at him for some reason.
Kamara just walked away from him. He was like, well.
Yeah, he was like, that's too bad.
It's a casualty.
Yeah, but like that was a big thing that I noticed was like, why are all the ball boys like 75 years of age? Like, can we get some younger folks who might be able to move out of the way when athletes come barreling towards them?
Yeah, no, they literally, even if they see it coming, it's just so sad because they can't move fast enough.
Yeah.
So that guy's probably okay. We can laugh because he's probably not dead. I feel like if he was dead, we'd have heard about it.
Yeah.
If not, then that's a cover-up.
We'll have to cut that segment.
Yeah, we'll have to cut that. If it comes out that he's dead, we'll have to kind of mitigate the cancellation we'll be facing. Let's go to a worse. Calvin Ridley upset about the reporter's question about targets. You know, what happened with the targets? And he's like, when did I get targeted? He's like, he had a lot in the fourth quarter. And he gets a little upset. He says, well, I need to get some in the beginning of the effing game, basically, is what he was saying. Hey, buddy, maybe don't gamble on the NFL so you don't get traded at the deadline in 2022 to Jacksonville, and then the next year get traded at the deadline to Tennessee so you don't have to play with stinky Will Levis tossing you the rock. No offense, Will Levis, we love you. But, I mean, what are you supposed to do, man? I mean, he was an absolute force in Atlanta, and I feel like it would have continued had he not been getting himself suspended an entire season. So, I mean, that's the situation he put himself in, so...
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's a bozo, and the reason being is I had him in a wager. It was a 2-leg. I don't remember what the other leg was, and I don't think it hit, but I had him 50-plus yards because I was looking at it, and I was like, dude, whoever plays the Colts, the number one receiver generally gets like 100 yards. So I was just betting on basically that happening. He had been quiet up until this point, but it turns out he's just not very good for some reason. It feels like the last time Calvin Ridley was effective was like 2021 or 20. I don't have the stats.
I mean, 2021 was the last year he played.
Yeah,
he didn't.
Yeah,
well,
he
but, I mean, well, you know, before the suspension is what I mean. So I feel like he could have continued the momentum, but
that's right. He got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got hurt for a whole year, and then the gambling for a whole year.
Ah, okay, maybe I remember wrong.
Yeah, that's just tough scenes all around for him.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is like 87 years old, and he is putting up better performances, it feels like.
He's hurt and old. D-Hop's career is dying in Tennessee. Yep. Another best, Kirk Cousins did. I don't know if you saw. I think I sent it to the boys. He's at the podium for something. He says, the song "Walk in Your Trap, Take Over Your Trap."
Yeah.
Dude, now if he wins in the way that he did the couple weeks ago this week, then they have to play that in the stadium along with Swag Surf. Dude, Kirk is becoming one of those NFL quarterbacks who's just going to be remembered just so fondly by everybody because he's just awesome. He's just freaking awesome. You got to love Kirk.
Yeah, so, like, obviously I watched Kirk Cousins for, like, 6 years, and not until Kevin O'Connell became coach in 2022, that's when the Kirk O'Chain stuff started. He was always he was way more reserved, obviously, but
right.
Seeing him come out is pretty cool. I kind of tried to hate on him earlier in the season because when he left the Vikings, he seemed upset that we didn't match the offer the Falcons gave, and the Falcons gave him. I still think it could potentially be looked at on as potentially an overpay depending on what happens with the Falcons next 2 years, because they paid him $45 million a year coming off an Achilles surgery, and he's 36, 37 years old.
Right.
So, I guess I don't really know what the Falcons' total goal is. Is it to win do they think they can win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins? Because if so, I would question that. Maybe next year they think they can put some pieces there. I think you can win a Super Bowl with Kirk. Vikings were looking, last year, when he tore his Achilles, they were actually on a 3-game win streak. It was a weird year. Josh Dobbs comes in, looks great, 2 games. Josh Dobbs becomes terrible again, and then basically the season's a wash at that point for us. And then we were at kind of that turning point. The Vikings did want him back at the right price, but I believe we wanted a 2-year deal, not a 4-year deal. Kevin O'Connell, I know for sure wanted him back. But the price was too crazy. Atlanta was just willing to give him the bag for it, which
Right.
respect. You can chase the bag.
Absolutely.
Even though he's made like $500 million in NFL money.
He is a swindler, bro.
And he doesn't like. I highly doubt he spends money on stuff that's expensive.
No,
so.
he's just loaded and not spending money. I feel like I could ask Kirk Cousins for $100 million, and even if he didn't give it to me, if he did, it wouldn't.
Shucks,
I just, why not? It's honestly just whatever to help you.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the swag surfing is fun to see.
Oh, so good.
That was a fun game. The big thing, Kirk Cousins just out of his shell. I feel like we did waste like 4 years of Kirk Cousins when Mike Zimmer was the head coach. But he's he for what he is, he definitely can be in the right system, a top 10 quarterback. I'd probably say he is right there right now. He threw for like 510 yards against Tampa.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's top 10. I think the Falcons are like kind of a fringe top 10 team right now. There's a lot of good NFC teams. I still kind of like Tampa Bay in that division, but I could see the Falcons winning that division. But
the Falcons have a lot of things coming together, and Trey, when he's on the podcast next, will probably be pretty hype about them, especially depending on what they do this week. Who do they have this week again?
They have the Seattle Seahawks.
They have Seahawks at home, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you have that in your picks.
I don't have that in my picks. I don't like that one, but
it's a 3-point spread for
Right.
Atlanta. It's just the home field advantage they're getting.
Right.
So they're like Vegas, I guess, thinks the Seahawks and the Falcons are as good of each other as a team, and I think that's incorrect. But
we'll see. I think you're right though, but we'll see. Another on worst, the announcer in the Carolina-Atlanta game, literally in this moment saying, as Andy Dalton is about to drop back the run pass, Bryce Young needs to watch from a true professional, and Andy Dalton immediately throws a pick. The timing could not have been more incredible. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Best, George Kittle pulling a Lamar Jackson during last week's game. Last Thursday, I don't know if you noticed, George Kittle ran to the locker room, but as I see him running to the locker room, he's doing that jog. I know this jog. I've seen this jog. This is the poop jog.
Yep.
I've done this jog. He was not hurt. I was not worried. He came right back out and caught another Yubski. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, yeah, when you have to just poop so bad that you can't hold it in anymore, which it happens after. There's a wing place I like to go to. I had that sort of situation recently. But the big thing about that is not the situation. It's after you unload yourself, you feel like a new person. You feel better than you ever did, and then, like you said, he comes back out, scores
and you
a
come
touchdown.
out and you catch another touchdown.
Yeah,
that was his second touchdown of the game, by the way.
You can't help but come out with a smile on your face after that.
Yeah, it just feels real good.
Yep.
You fall on a guy and your booty gets in his face, and you know he's not having a good day after that.
Yeah, he might have pink eye. He might want to watch out.
Worst, the video of Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson working at Dairy Queen. Come on. I mean, that's got to be the most set up. You just lose one game horribly, and the internet is going to be flooded with that. How do players not realize this at this point? Do they is it like a partnership thing where they just get paid that much? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's going to get used, too. The Colts will lose another game badly this year.
You got to get the bag, but like Desmond Ritter's the big one who was on a DoorDash commercial, and he might actually be working for DoorDash now. I haven't seen that dude anywhere on the Falcons side. Bryce Young had a Raising Cane's
yes,
thing.
the Canes with Bryce Young, that's been all over the place.
It's a shame, but it is really funny. Like, obviously the memes are
hilarious.
Great.
Oh yeah, we're just waiting. I know the meme pages have that one locked and loaded. That was like a gift.
Yep.
Cole Kmet, long snapper and touchdown scorer last Sunday in London, across the pond. He's just a dog, I guess. Cole Kmet is just the best tight end ever. So another best there. Let's do another best. Cowboys lose 47-9. I shouldn't have to explain why that's a best. Come on, we all love that. Everybody liked that in the corner of the screen. We're gonna move on to the last worst, so we can just get it out of the way. Aiden Hutchinson. If you saw the injury, you just hate to see it, man. He is clearly, as soon as you saw it, clearly everybody knew, done for the rest of the year. They came out and said he has no official, timeline to come back. He's not coming back yet. That's like the very, considerate and demure way of saying this guy's out a long time. So But all we can do is think about him and hope he gets back. He was on a pretty great pace to be depoy.
He had a 4 or 5 sack game against Tampa.
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson's an awesome player. Like, he's one of the, like, when he's, it's kind of like Max Crosby, TJ Watt. When they're like on, they're not like, you can put two guys on. They just split the double team.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've heard like obviously that impacts Detroit a lot as a team. One of the things that their defense frankly isn't all that great. They look great against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are kind of just a silly football team. They're kind of a clown show right now. But Detroit's defense is certainly the worst side of the ball. So Aiden was kind of like the one big-time pass rusher they had. I really don't know any of the other. I know Wuzurika is a D tackle who can rush the passer kind of. Other than that, they don't really have guys. So I have heard Max Crosby as a trade piece for Detroit to potentially trade for.
That would be something.
Yeah, the Raiders are selling, obviously. Devontae wasn't going to play anyway, so he forced his way out a little bit. But like Max Crosby, he could, like, the Lions are that team that would trade for, like, be aggressive and trade for that pass rusher. Because now it feels like that's the piece that they're missing to getting back to, like, that Super Bowl contending window. I do have a hard time seeing the Lions win a Super Bowl without having on the defense any sort of notable player, because I think they'll have to get into too many shootout sort of scenarios. I know, again, they look great against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I love that.
Cowboys are a bit of a clown show right now, so we'll see. That's a lot of fun. Cowboys' schedule doesn't get easier. I looked at it.
Nope.
It's brutal.
Nope. And everybody likes that.
Yep.
Moving on, we have two more bests, and they're both Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' best, another Hail Mary. I think I heard the first since 2016 that was caught like that. But that's a long time. But you got to look at the entire body of work with this insane, weird, mystical play for him. It's got to be like the ayahuasca spirits or something that are keeping him able to do this. I remember thinking last time it was probably like Jeff Janis. I think it was like in the end zone or something like that.
Yeah.
In this week it was Alan Lazard, I think, caught it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Lazard's been so good in like fantasy, by the way. It's been like, kind of ridiculous. I don't have him, but every time I look up, he's getting the ball. That might change now for obvious reasons we'll talk about. But A-Rod, another Hail Mary.
Yeah. I spent most of my adult and childhood life hating Aaron Rodgers because he was the Packers quarterback.
Right, naturally.
And he smoked us like countless times. But I really don't care too much now that he's on the Jets. I actually was high on the Jets going into this year. Obviously, they've disappointed. I don't think Devontae is going to make them a great team, but we'll see. That's give Aaron his guys. He tends to play better.
He tends to play a lot better, and he tends to throw to his guys. Yeah. Like, I think a good like 80% of the time. Do you remember when he got Randall Cobb back in Green Bay, and all of a sudden Randall Cobb was like Randall Cobb from like a decade before?
Yep.
A-Rod likes to look for his guys. So Devontae and Lazard are going to be getting that ball. I'd sell high on Garrett Wilson right now if I were you. Because I think it's going to be Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard getting that football a whole lot.
Still a poverty organization.
Still a poverty organization. I was just, for fantasy purposes, this is great for me right now. Okay, so we have to mention, like last week, Andrew sent me, he sent me Devontae Adams for Josh Downs. Now, we cooked him. We clowned him. It is probably a win-win. I'll give you that. Because Andrew's team was, you're like 1-4?
It was 1-4. It's now 2-4.
Right, and the Josh Downs effect came into play big when you won by, 0.7?
0.87. Josh Downs was my highest scorer on the entire team, 19 points. That is not probably going to stay the same with Anthony Richardson because Joe Flacco just looks for Josh Downs. If AR doesn't play well, we could see Flacco back in. I'm kind of hopeful. Flacco throws for like 300 yards every time he's in.
I just feel like you play Flacco until he just doesn't play well anymore. I personally, I understand wanting to get your quarterback out. Aaron's not a rookie anymore, but like practically, you know what I'm saying? He got hurt in like week 5 last year, something like that. Yeah. He is practically still like playing his rookie games, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm not worried about Anthony Richardson going into year 3 and next year, and then after that, I think you just. I don't know. I think you just ride Flacco because it's fun right now, honestly.
It's fun.
It's fun, and you're winning.
Yeah, it keeps you viable.
He's balling out, and you're viable.
Also, they don't have Jonathan Taylor right now, so he'll get back. And Joe Flacco's better when he has a run game. Anthony Richardson, I've watched that guy shoot piss missiles to nobody more times than any quarterback I've ever seen.
He did have that insane throw in week 1 to Alec Pierce for a touchdown. He can't just throw the most beautiful ball you've ever seen and then just make you wonder how he made the NFL at all.
Yeah, he's an interesting case study. Obviously he can move like Lamar Jackson, and he can also throw it like Josh Allen, but he just misses so many easy throws.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens with him.
We'll see what happens. And the last best, A-Rod had, you see a screenshot of the L in blood on his hand or something like that during the game. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a best and worst because that's pretty hilarious. You can't make that kind of stuff up. But A-Rod getting Devontae, obviously, which brings us very nicely into our next topic. That's Davante Adams to the New York Jets for a conditional third that could become a second. It looks like it's a lopsided trade when you look at it at face value. However, I mean, you got to understand the position the Raiders are in at this point. He wasn't going to play. He wasn't happy. He was milking this hamstring that, whatever. He's literally going to play on Sunday. You get what you can get for him. The Raiders understand at this point they need to just probably go into full rebuild kind of mode. I doubt Pierce will be there next year at head coach. They probably will try to find somebody else. They're gonna need everything at this point. They need everything. The Raiders they're not a good team right now, which is why I had the Steelers really blowing them out, which happened. But so Devontae to the Jets, conditional third, could be a second. What were you gonna say? Yeah,
so I think we as NFL fans tend to say when it first happens, the team that got the good player won the trade. That's our gut reaction.
Right.
And people are like, how did the Raiders only get a third round pick? It could be a conditional second. That sounds like not a lot, but not that you would trust the Raiders to draft the right players, but any organization thinks they can probably draft the right players.
Right.
And if you do, it's I would take, honestly, because if Aaron Rodgers doesn't win a Super Bowl for the Jets, then his time with the Jets was a waste.
Exactly,
and he's 41 now. I'm not entirely convinced he plays next year, to be completely honest with you, if he keeps looking like this. If Devontae doesn't fix him, I don't think he's coming back for another year. Then you just traded for Devontae for nothing because you're not going to draft a rookie, and then he's going to come in and be great with Devontae, and then Devontae's going to retire, and because he's not the same as he once was. So, and obviously the Raiders offload his contract. I don't think they care about that because they're not paying a quarterback. So I just feel like the team that at the end of the day, the Raiders had to move Devontae anyway, and I don't think the Jets won unless they have at least some playoff success. If you have to win a playoff game this year for me to consider that a good trade for them. But
absolutely.
Amari Cooper.
I do want to note that Devontae, before you get to Amari Cooper, Devontae was in the building 15 minutes after the trade.
Yeah.
One of you said that in the group chat. Was it you?
Yeah, that was Jason.
It was Jason?
He said that was tampering, and it certainly was. Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams at his house on Pat McAfee, and it was I don't know if you've seen the clip, but it's really funny.
He just he looks over to him and he creeps and he's like,
yeah.
Well, hello.
It's like when you're if you got a crush on somebody and you're FaceTiming your friend, and then you just slowly, and the girl walks into the frame. That's what that made me think of. It was dude, this feels like it has some weird tension behind it. I don't know why he had to slowly walk into frame and then smile at the Pat McAfee show.
He certainly was tampering.
Funny scene. It's going to be used for memes, by the way, too.
Oh, for sure. We got a lot of meme bait this week. A lot of it.
When they get smashed, that's going to be used as a meme for sure.
Oh, for sure. People, the meme pages have so many memes loaded up right now.
Yep.
Amari Cooper to the Bills for 2025 third, 2026 seventh to the Browns, and the Bills also get 2025 sixth. So he's going to be immediately effective, I think. He's their best receiver on that team. I don't have a ton to say about this. I just think it's straight up a good move for Buffalo right now.
Yeah, I would agree. Everything I said about Devontae, I feel kind of the opposite about Amari Cooper because the Bills needed a true alpha dog receiver, and I know Amari Cooper's a little bit older, but I still think that he can get open for Josh Allen and be kind of that, not quite maybe Stephon Diggs when he was in his prime level there, but I think Amari Cooper can still go deep. He was just kind of, like trapped with Deshaun Watson and couldn't do anything.
Right, and Flacco last year with Amari Cooper with Flacco last year, he actually was very productive. So I think it's just a matter straight up like face value. This one you can look at pretty clearly. He just needs a quarterback, and now he's got one. And now Josh Allen's got a receiver. Now maybe there's some chemistry stuff that needs to be worked on, maybe tuned up. Maybe it doesn't work right away, first week type thing. But I think as the season goes on, you're going to see a lot of Amari Cooper catching balls from Josh Allen.
Yeah, his fantasy stock went. I have him in a fantasy league. In my other fantasy leagues, and his stock definitely went up.
Stock went way up.
Did you see his exit interview from the Browns where he was like trying not to look super happy, but you could tell.
I didn't see it, but
yeah, he was like smiling like, you never want to be traded, but
oh, oops! Yeah. I guess I'm going to a team with a quarterback. Yeah. Oh, a contender! Oh no!
Going from Deshaun Watson to Josh Allen is like one of the like greatest. I don't even know how to put that into words.
Can you imagine saying the sentence you just said in 2018?
Yeah.
Can you imagine saying in 2018, dude? He just went from Deshaun Watson to Josh Allen. He's so up. Like that would have gotten you killed in 2018. Yeah. But Deshaun's fall off needs to absolutely be. Deshaun Watson's fall off, I get it. You can't play for forever, and you go to a different team, and you come back. Maybe you're a little rusty for a little while. But, dude, the way that he is in the toilet, right? He looks so bad that I cannot even fathom how he was the same quarterback. This is the same quarterback we saw in Houston 4 years ago. It's actually crazy. I think he literally, the allegations, I think he got cursed. I think he's done, dude.
I was going to say, it's a shame. Like, everyone's kind of a big fan of his off the field work, and you see. And anyway, on the field, it's been so bad that you can't even really put it into words. No, on the real though, like I feel bad for Kevin Stefanski, probably most of all. Former Viking offensive coordinator, became the Browns coach in 2020. Won Coach of the Year with Baker Mayfield, made Baker Mayfield look really, really good. Turns out Baker Mayfield was just good after all.
Yeah.
But he was like the first guy to unlock Baker, to his full extent. Baker gets a shoulder injury. I think Stefanski wanted to keep Baker, and the ownership group of the Browns, which is like one of the worst in history, was like, no, we're going to shell out for Deshaun Watson. Even though like Deshaun was still not off the field, but on the field held in high regard at the time, like Pro Bowler.
At the time, it was a big deal. I remember it was a very big deal when Deshaun was getting traded to the Browns. I remember the Saints were also in the conversation up there until the very end. He goes to Cleveland, and it was like immediately everybody was like, Cleveland, immediate contender, immediately good. And it obviously it all played out the way it played out, and it's not played out like anybody thought. Nobody. There's not probably a single person, like 7 to 8 billion people on planet Earth, that thought Joe Flacco was going to be running around last year slinging it like he was. So the way that's worked out has been absolutely insane in Cleveland.
And there's no one to like blame it. Like some people, when in 2022, like he looked bad the last 6 games because he was suspended for a bunch of them. He comes back and he looks bad, and people are like, well, he just needs to get acquainted going to 2023.
Right, there was some...
people blame like the O-line, the receiver. It's like, no, dude, there's no one to blame anymore. Nope. He just sucks.
He sucks.
If you watch him, he is horrific.
He's really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how he got this bad.
I legit think a big part of it is he got his money, and he doesn't care about football, so he just goes out and just does whatever.
Yeah, they are paying him.
I think that's what it is.
They are paying him so much money to play like that. It's crazy.
It's all fully guaranteed, too. It's
fully guaranteed.
I think you have to let him go after this season and draft a quarterback.
You gotta cut your losses. You gotta cut your losses at this point because he doesn't want to play football.
But that owner, Haslam, dude, he sucks. He will he'll just ride with the bad investment just to feed his ego. I think.
Just to spite people, More news. Tom Brady, Raiders minority owner. He owns what? What does he own? You what?
What happens in Vegas?
So yeah, he's the minority owner of the Raiders. As if he hasn't been for 20 years, but sure, good for him. I just had to add that in there. It was too easy. It was right there. I saw the headline and I immediately put it in my notes.
Yeah, and Tom Brady, I heard him commentate a couple of games, and I didn't even notice it was him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's not very good at it yet. So.
Yeah, he's not like he's just very mid. He's just He's not super fun. He's not super dull, but good for him. He's got, I'm sure, a lot of money. He'll probably retire fine.
Oh yeah, Tom Brady. I don't think he has a lot to worry about currently financially. More news. Russell Wilson is in consideration to start versus the Jets Sunday night in Pittsburgh. I have mixed feelings about it. I have said over the course of these 6 weeks of the season, I like Justin Fields staying at quarterback because it's working. Not necessarily because he's lighting it up, although he did have the week against the Colts. We lost that game, but he threw for a lot of yards. Okay, I get it. He's not lighting it up. He's doing just enough, so I'm okay with it. Now, Fields came out and said that if he was playing better, there would be no question at all. And that's super real of him. And I think it's completely true. Now, it is up in the air who's going to start. I think Tomlin has come out and said that it is definitely in consideration for Russ to start. He logged his first full practice like last week. I don't necessarily think Russ needs a ton of practice to really go out in there and perform. And there's still the question of, is Russ washed? Was it just Denver? Last year, he threw 26 touchdowns and 8 picks. He had a pretty solid year after the horrendous year in 2022. Just didn't get along with Sean Payton. I think that if Russ plays, I think he might play a smidge better than Justin Fields has been playing, because Justin Fields, either by his own volition or being held back by the coaches, has trouble letting the ball rip down the field for big plays. It's a lot of quick reads, it's a lot of sideline stuff, and it's a lot of just jump balls, and not necessarily things where you see a quarterback drop back, roll out, and he's got a guy he's about to dart it to 30 yards down the field. Russ still has that in him. Now, I'm not saying that I want to see Russ, but I am saying I would not be mad at it if it came out on Friday or Saturday or Sunday morning that Russell Wilson is starting in New York, and I will be locked in either way, but I'll be very locked if Russ starts. It'll be very, very interesting.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a risk reward, like a high risk, high reward. Not even high risk. I think I don't really know what it is. Like, I do think Russell Wilson has more potential to unlock the offense that the Steelers have been trying to unlock for since the Killer B days. It feels like,
right?
Because it's been Kenny Pickett, the fossil of Big Ben, that 1 year or that 2 year stretch.
2021, because it was Big Ben's fall off needs to be studied, because 2020 he was balling. That was the 11-0 start that I knew was Fugazi, honestly, but
he just fell apart.
2021, he literally looked like a big fat skeleton. Like he
didn't take care of himself.
Every time I think about it, every time I think about this, I think about the play where he rolls out and he falls down.
Yeah,
he falls down, and at that moment I was like, it was a good career. It was a great career.
Well, Big Ben wasn't like holding himself to a diet like Brady was. He was going home and eating like hot dogs and drinking Miller Lights after games, no doubt.
And it worked for him for a long, long time,
right?
Until it didn't.
But yeah, I think Russell Wilson has higher potential, but I think that he also has a higher chance to absolutely just plummet the team. I don't know if that, plummet as in maybe Tomlin has his first losing season. I don't think the Steelers can be much worse than 7 or 8 wins. The big thing is
never are.
Yeah,
never are. That's our whole thing.
Yeah, the big thing though is Justin Fields is not going to win you a Super Bowl. To be quite honest, I've watched enough Justin Fields. He just doesn't play quarterback well enough. His highlight plays are a lot of fun. Like, he runs around as well as Lamar Jackson, but he just can't read defenses. His accuracy is kind of hit or miss. And he takes, his pocket presence is also really bad. Yeah. He takes a lot of sacks.
I've said before, his comp is Cam Newton. He's just not as good as Cam Newton was in his prime. Yeah. He's not as good as Cam Newton was ever, really. I mean, Cam Newton in 2020 with the Pats wasn't great, but he's got that Cam Newton type of play style, that type of potential. It's just something's not clicking there, and I don't know if it's a scheme thing, but I mean, I've seen us try to kind of play that game with him, and he does it fairly well. It's just something. It's a little bit off, and it might just straight up be a skill issue.
Yeah. Yeah. At the same time, it's not like Russell Wilson's like Tom Brady sitting back there.
No,
he's got his flaws.
Right. It's not like Russell Wilson. We're just waiting till Russell Wilson's not hurt anymore. It wasn't like that at all. It was like yeah, Russ is going to eventually be able to start, but will he? Won't he kind of thing? And we're just still trying to figure that out. So it's definitely a very interesting situation that we'll keep an eye on.
We will get some good memes of Russ starts, of him saying,
absolutely,
yeah, steal time, let's ride.
Yeah, we'll get some really good memes.
Yeah.
Trust this season is so good for the memes. It is just peak for memes. There's Will Levis and there's just a bunch of other stuff happening that's just perfect. So
he's gonna call himself the Man of Steel in a cringy video. It's gonna be great.
All right, Andy, your time to shine, buddy. We have Lions at Vikings, because you corrected me on that. I thought it was in Detroit. But Lions at Vikings. The Vikings are favored -1.5. What do you think? What do you like?
So, in this game, I'm going to seem biased. I would take, it's probably, if you're a gambler, you probably don't bet this game. This is one you just kind of watch. The side, however, I think is the Vikings. It's -1. It's being the public is absolutely hammering the Lions. It was 2.5. It's down to 1.5 for the Vikings, giving up a 1.5. And I wouldn't be shocked if it's just a straight up pick 'em, or if the Vikings are home underdogs by the time the game starts. So I might, if you're a bettor, you might want to just wait until money keeps piling in on the Lions, see if the Vikings get up to be a favorite or whatever. But the Vikings undoubtedly have the better defense, especially without Aiden Hutchinson in there. The big question is going to be, is Sam Darnold going to play like the first 4 games, or is he going to play like that Jets game where he kind of looked more like the Jets version when he was back with the Jets?
Right.
He's Sam Darnold, even with the Vikings, a lot of his mistakes have been coached out by Kevin O'Connell. At the same time, he will still throw some of the worst throws you've ever seen that go directly to the other team.
Yeah, that's still in him. Don't be mistaken.
He's very like Brett Favre, not obviously to that level, but he will just he's going to let it rip, not think about it. It is a breath of fresh air, because I watched Kirk Cousins for 6 years, at times refuse to throw the football down the field, just stare and get sacked or throw it short. The big one's the 4th and 8 in the playoffs against the Giants. He throws it 2 yards to Hawkinson, who's covered. But Sam Darnold, he'll just let it rip. He did it against the 49ers to seal the game, because they were kind of starting to come back. With the Packers game, that got really close at the end, and he was able to seal the game with a field goal drive. So the reason that line is so close, the Vikings do indeed have a better team, I think. Maybe not a better offense, certainly a better defense, and I do think the offenses are a lot closer than people would say.
Right.
Plus, we're at home, obviously.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is the fact the Lions just looked so incredible against Detroit, and they went Jared Goff had a perfect game against the Seahawks, put up 49 points. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions win, certainly, but I think they will struggle a little bit against the Vikings defense at home. It's going to be loud. The Vikings also are off a bye week. That is huge.
That's big.
Because our coaching staff is one of the best in the league. I think Kevin O'Connell's a top 5 to 10 head coach right now, and I think Brian Flores is probably the best defensive coordinator in the NFL with what he's doing with the defense. They're top 3 in points per game, top 5 at least in all the other. They're actually not great in pass yards, but what our defense does is it shuts down the run to the tune of 40, 50 rush yards a game. And then it will give up either in garbage time or just guys will get open. They will give up a lot of pass yards. Our pass yards per game is pretty bad on defense, but a lot of it's either garbage time or the other team just is hitting good passes. We played some good quarterbacks: C.J. Stroud, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love. The Packers really figured our defense out in the second half of that game, because we were up 28-0 at half and almost blew the game. But I do think with 2 weeks to prepare, Brian Flores will come up with something. The Lions love to run the ball. Our defense is pretty much built upon not letting you run it and then just blitzing 8 people at the quarterback.
Yeah.
You saw it against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. We sent the house on him on a 3rd down. He threw a pick 6 to Van Ginkel, where he just didn't see Van Ginkel, because you have to react within less than 1 second, basically.
Right.
And you can't see, obviously, everything going on, because you have to recognize the disguised blitz, then you have to get it off, and all that's within 1 second. If Aaron Rodgers can't do it, who can dissect defenses still, probably better than anybody, you don't really lose that with age,
Yeah, I know that everything neck up. You don't lose that. You don't lose the neck up.
Yeah, and
unless you get CTE.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's definitely cases of that too. But like, if we can shut down the run, and I do still think like they're going to break off a couple of runs. They just have too good of running backs with Gibbs and Montgomery. But I think that for the most part, they're not going to be running it for like 8 yards a clip like they did against the Cowboys.
No.
And if we can basically do that, get Jared Goff thrown in a couple of positions where we can blitz him. He's obviously not very mobile. He's not going to be running outside the pocket. If he can't deliver it quick, I think their offense could be in a little bit of trouble. Our offense, honestly, I think against their defense, we should just kind of try to run the ball, hit a play action deep. We might have Hawkinson back for this game, which could be big. It's a revenge game, too. He used to be a Lion. Sam Darnold hasn't played with him yet, so I don't know how he'll integrate. However, I think that like we can definitely take some deep shots. Jefferson can do it all, but he can, get deep. Jordan Addison is kind of a more of our primary deep threat. Aaron Jones, I'm not sure he'll be playing in this game. However, our offensive line has played really well. They should be able to clear the way. We traded for Cam Akers, which I thought was kind of weird, but
that is weird. I thought the trade for Cam Akers meant that Aaron Jones' injury was pretty serious, and I looked it up, and I don't think it's that serious. I think he's gonna come back pretty soon, if not this week.
Yeah, he might just be like our coaching staff likes him.
I think you guys just like that guy.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, bring him back here. Y'all got mix him back. Bring the guy back. We like that guy. Yeah, send him back this way.
Yeah, send him back. It was like 2 6-round picks.
We just gotta want him around.
Yeah, for sure. But overall, like I wouldn't be surprised if this game goes either way. I think it'll be a tight game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. But yeah, I'll give you a score prediction. Let's go Vikings 27, Lions 24.
Okay.
That'll be the score.
And that does work for my picks that I'm about to make. Perfect. All right. So, I was 5-0 this past week, and I was 4-1 the week before that. I mentioned that already. But I'll be honest, I'm not as confident about the picks that I'm about to make now, but I'm confident enough to at least put them in this episode. Last week was an easy week for betting. This week is a little weirder. You got some things that are going to look a lot closer. You got some lines that are a lot closer. You got some weird stuff that can happen. But first one, like I mentioned, I like Detroit plus 3.5, currently at minus 172 on FanDuel. The line is set at plus 1.5 because it is practically a pick'em. Detroit is the dog because they are coming into Minnesota, and I like them to keep it close. It is divisional. These teams are both very good. I like the field goal spread to at least be covered by Detroit. I think that one is pretty safe, but again, weird stuff happens in the NFL. All right, Colts at home versus the Dolphins. I'm going to take Colts money line at home. Last time I bet the Colts against the backup quarterback, they burned me. You remember in week 2, that was my parlay leg for the boys parlay against Malik Willis, and they got cooked. But I am a gracious host, and I am a host of second chances. Don't mess this one up, Indy, or you are banned. Colts money line versus Miami at home.
Against Snoop Dogg, right?
Against Snoop Huntley, Snoop Dogg.
Yep.
Snoop D-O-double-G Huntley. Ooh, okay. All right.
That's pretty good.
Kansas City is plus 1.5 at Niners. I think they're just too good not to cover a couple more points, plus 3.5. I think they're just too good of a team to lose by more than 3. I just, Reed and Mahomes, I don't care what the analysis is on defenses, on all the advanced stats. Just Patrick Mahomes is just insane. And sometimes you just have to look at a player and just go, that guy is going to have a hard time losing football games. And I think, the Chiefs aren't invincible. They could lose this game. I know people might be a little bit lower on the Niners because they haven't been playing super duper uber well. But this team is still going to be a force. This is a Super Bowl rematch. They will come to play. The Chiefs will come to play. And I don't think Kansas City loses by more than 3. I'll take them plus 3.5 this game. He's going to be pretty close. Houston at Green Bay. I like, Houston is the dog there, so I like them plus 6.5. That's minus 215. That's a little safer, but I like the offensive firepower they've got. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I like the cover better by Houston. Another close one I also like the over 2 at over 47.5 points. And then finally, Baltimore at Tampa Bay. The line is set at over 49.5, but give me over 45.5. Andrew knows this is what I do every single week. Buy a few points on something that I like because I hate when they try to give me a line to bite on and it just misses by like a point. So over 45.5. Baltimore's defense has proven to be pretty susceptible, and the Bucs just put up 51 against New Orleans, but again, 51 points is 51 points. I think Baltimore, though, they're the type of team that's going to keep up with their offense. So buy a few points on the over, I think, is the call. This game should have over 45.5 points, possibly after the third quarter's over. Andy, that's pretty much all I got. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I think those are pretty sharp picks. Other than struggle to trust Anthony Richardson's Colts. If Joe Flacco,
listen,
if we get a late call, Joe Flacco's in the game, I think I would bet my entire net worth on that.
This is why I'm not super comfortable about all these this week. Disclaimer, I was very confident last week. Not as confident this week, but I think at least 3 of those are gonna hit. Colts is a scary one because that's a scary one. Yeah. But I think the Dolphins are that bad right now. On the road, I just think they suck. So
they certainly do.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah, Snoop Huntley made a Pro Bowl once, actually. Fun fact.
Yep.
But that was a long 3 years ago. I don't know what was going on. I think Mitchell Trubisky made the Pro Bowl that year too. It was a crazy time to be alive. But yeah, overall good picks. Yeah, the over in that Ravens game, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield's playing like a top 5 quarterback.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with that.
All right.
And then tonight we have a football game. I don't know if you want to tie. It's not a.
Oh yeah,
it's more of a college game.
The game tonight I wasn't even gonna mention. I kind of forgot about it. It's probably gonna be a snooze fest. And if it is absolutely the greatest game we see this season, then this is going to be a clip, I guess. But it is Broncos at Saints. Saints are starting Spencer Rattler, Noah Olave, Rashid Shaheed down for the year. We like Broncos minus 2.5. I mean, I don't even like lines straight up. I like that line at minus 2.5 for Denver to come in and beat them. I just think their defense is too good. Pat is not playing, right? Surtain is not playing tonight, right?
Surtain is out.
Okay.
However, like you said, the Saints are missing any notable receiver other than Kamara, who's going to probably have 10 to 15 catches tonight because he's about all they have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Bub Means.
He scored last week, by the way.
He did. And it's Mason Tipton, which... Like, again, I don't think these are real people. I'll have to wait to see the game tonight to see if they're real. But, like, yeah, I don't even – this is such a stinky game. I feel like the Broncos could win by 2 or 1. I would just take the Broncos ML outright because I would be pretty shocked if Sean Payton goes back into New Orleans and loses, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the line's too close. I think the Broncos might surprise everybody, win by, like, 10. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a stinker. I'm going to watch it because I'm just a sucker for football. Honestly, bad football is sometimes like
good football.
Yeah. I'd rather almost watch 2 horrific teams than 2 like super mediocre teams. Like, you know what I mean?
No, yeah, you definitely rather watch like Will Levis versus like Daniel Jones than you would like, you know, Geno versus who's middling? I don't know. I can't think right now.
Geno Smith and like I don't even know.
I don't know. I get
every quarterback's either terrible or one of the best players on earth right now.
Yeah,
there's not that many like middle.
Right now is crazy. Right now you either suck or you're like incredible. So
yeah.
Geno is in the middle though. I feel like Geno was a good one for that.
Yeah, we used to have a nice like middle tier of quarterback. Kirk Cousins used to be in that.
He used to be in that.
Well, now he's like closer to the top.
Closer to the top, right?
Dak Prescott used to be in there, and he looks horrible. So it's a weird time in the NFL. Stuff's gonna like start shaping itself out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the dogs will be barking this week, to be honest, because of the fact that last week it was like all favorites going on. I'll tell you a stinker that I like in terms of the games this week, in terms of the spreads this week.
Yep.
And you might hate it. You might think it's sharp, and I'll tell you what it is. It's the Browns plus 5.5 against the Bengals.
Yeah, you like that one. Deshaun, I just don't know, man.
Yes, and I get like why you wouldn't like this one. Here's my thought process: there was like it was 4.5, now it's 5.5. I consider that because it's Amari Cooper getting traded. But I got some news for you. Amari Cooper was not worth anything to the Browns because he didn't catch any footballs. I have him on my fantasy team. He didn't do anything. He wasn't worth any points. And the Browns get Nick Chubb back. So I think what they're going to do is Stefanski's going to say, okay, we're going to try to throw the ball like 5 times and give the ball to Nick Chubb 47 times. And the Bengals are one of the only teams in the league that I don't think can stand up and stop that. I think Nick Chubb might have like a crazy game back, like 150 to 200 yards.
That might be sharp. That one might be so sharp.
It's also a divisional home game, and they're getting 5.5's a lot of points. And it's, we keep waiting for the Bengals to like even in that game against the Giants, like you would have thought they might win by more if the defense holds the Giants to 7, which they did, and the offense didn't look that good. They just are a bit of a team in disarray right now. I don't really like their head coach. Really like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and all, but like the Browns defense, like if Myles Garrett can get after Joe Burrow, I don't know. You might be looking at like a sloppy 17-14 game.
You could be. And that plus 5.5 might be. You might be convincing me, honestly.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think you might see. Like I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, if the Browns just won the game outright because it's on the road.
Spicy.
And the Browns, I think I heard today the Bengals I think are under Joe Burrow like 1-5 against the Browns, so they just have a struggle against the Browns. Obviously, those Browns teams were better. Like with last year with Joe Flacco, they were a lot better. But usually, like the defense, Myles Garrett usually gets after them, and the rest of the especially it's at home. I know it's not really a away game because Cincinnati's probably 2 hours from Cleveland.
Right. Yeah, so, and I don't think Cleveland home field advantage matters a lot. I don't think fan morale is up very high. But I'll tell you something about Cleveland fans. They are very loyal. So
for sure,
I've been to that stadium. They're solid. They're good people. They're good people. I don't think a lot of them like Deshaun, though. So.
And what was your line on the 49ers that you picked?
I picked KC plus 3.5.
KC plus 3.5. Yeah, that's probably sharp. Like we were talking about this before. People are just putting treasure troves of money on the Chiefs to win the game outright.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit sketchy due to the fact that Andy Reid is off a bye week. That's one of the big things that is in the Chiefs' favor. But Kyle Shanahan and the Niners played Thursday night last week, so they kind of get a mini bye.
Right.
It's at home.
Sharp.
There is that revenge narrative thing going on. I still would lean Chiefs to win the game, but I don't know if this much money should be put on the Chiefs side. I think the Niners could easily win this thing, and I think Vegas is pretty sharp the way they set the line. Chiefs dogs. Everyone obviously was going to look at that and say, "Well, the Chiefs are underdogs," and then just put a lot of money on them. They might be sharp, and they might. They might get away with it. They might be. The public might donate a lot of money in that game.
Yep.
But FanDuel, DraftKings, they'll eat good if that happens. But yeah, that's really all I had on that. The spreads are tough this week.
Spreads are tough this week, but that's what I do on those 5 picks. So I don't know, for the boys parlay, I may pick one of those. I don't know. I probably will go and try to find something else, but that is probably it for us today. Man, this is one of our longer episodes. Andrew's first episode. It was one of our longer episodes. Yeah, we had a lot to say. There's a lot going on. Do you care?
I don't think so.
Did you ask?
Definitely not.
Did we tell you anyway?
Yes, sir.
We absolutely did. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.